Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all here in this webinar session being conducted by TNV Academy. Let me all introduce you to our guest speaker for today's webinar. For today's webinar, we have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us. The topic with which Mr. Ajay Bajpai is here with us in this webinar today is clause 6.2 of ISO 22000, which speaks about food safety objectives and planning to achieve them. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301, and 50001 standards respectively. If I talk about his overall experience, then he has got around 38 plus years of experience in training, auditing, certification, and accreditation processes, along with imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs, and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and their certification and implementation. This was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you. I think you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
So let's start discussion about food safety management system objectives. We have had a couple of webinars done in past by our TNV Academy team on this subject, and various clauses has been discussed to support the explanation on food safety management system and policies, objectives, planning, and emergency preparedness, and so on. See, today we all need to understand that food safety is very, very critical for all of us. We all are eating or drinking, means taking some intakes almost for 17-18 hours. Most of the young generation is hardly sleeping for 5 to 6 hours. So they keep on eating for almost 80 hours, drinking for almost 80 hours. All this, whichever is going as intake to our body, needs to be safe. It should be a clean food. It should be a food which is meeting the requirement as per the hygiene, cleanliness, and it should not spoil our body parts in either short term or long terms. Nutrition values, the calcium, the vitamins, and so on are very much required for this body to sustain in long run. Most of the young generation is not understanding this, and they are still continuing to eat junk foods, which is very, very risky if you look at from long term view. If you look at, for example, the generation of my father, the generation of my grandfather, whose photo is still displayed in front of me when I am talking. The first photograph which I remember of my grandfather is same 5 feet 11 inches which he was in it, maybe the young life. He had taken all good things in life. That generation used to have cows and buffaloes in the houses, a well in the house to have safe water, which was originally a mineral water, because it was all coming through the usage of the minerals from the land of the grandmother, which has been contaminated so much now that now nobody can think of drinking water from a well. It's so much contaminated. We have made it so much contaminated. So organization need to have food safety policy to see that whatever they are producing, whatever employees they have, whatever vehicles they have in the organization, they are having a food manufactured under safe conditions. What are those safe conditions? They try to address it through policy and through statutory and regulatory requirements and customer requirements. And they are finally met with implementation of measurable objectives. So food safety objectives have to be measurable. They should be, you know, defined at the relevant functions and relevant levels. Some organizations will define objectives at organizational level, but they are not able to reach at the relevant levels, relevant functions, and they fail in ultimate objective of meeting the requirement of statutory regulatory boards and customer requirement, and they are not able to grow. We have seen organizations who have started with us in one room or two room company, and now they have one and two storage buildings in the commercial complexes. Why that has happened? Because they have developed food safety policy and food safety objectives which were measurable, which were meeting the requirements. They could monitor them, they could communicate them. So they have met with the requirement of clause 6.2.1 and they have achieved a lot of success. What also is required is need to be maintained and updated as appropriate. Some organizations will try to do it more than what is required. They spend more energy in meeting the objectives and they do not follow the principles of Pareto analysis, which is 80-20% law of economics. You can spend 20% of energy and get 80% of objectives met. These concepts need to be understood by the food safety management system attempting organization. What all to be done needs to be defined. Organizations take a decision, but they forget to document what will be done. They do not identify the resources. At times, the fumigation is required. The pest controls are required. They call a pest control team and then they pay him some money and get a pest control certificate. We have seen organization not getting it done but getting the certificate. This is very, very risky. Absolutely risky. When we ask them questions, what is the rat entry control? What is the snake entry control? What is the mosquito, even the small mosquito entry control? Or the water being deposited in their organization here and there? What resources you have identified to control them? They say, sir, we are very good. We have identified some of it. I say, okay, you are very good, but we cannot further process the certification. So certification process, stop. Some organizations go more than limits. They will, allocate budgets. In case of multiple, units organization and many governmental setups, we have seen resources are being identified more than required. Funds are allocated and they are being misused. They do not follow the anti-bribery. They do not understand anti-bribery. So they do bribery. They misuse those resources and enjoy the life. We have many governmental organizations and individuals staying here and there in our neighborhoods. They will be utilizing the resources 100% to their own benefit, which is very, very unfortunate to see. Particularly in the regions of our last government, I am not a political person, but I have seen the regions of the last governments being utilizing the resources fully. But we have been to many government organizations and we have seen the total misappropriation of the funds. Who will be responsible? It is very good. Like for example, the case of the liquor policy of the government. The great Arvind Kejriwal is not responsible for anything in his government. He has allocated all ministries to other ministers. There have been very, very capable, intelligent politicians who do not do anything by their hand. They will not sign any documents. So they go scot free even the biggest frauds or biggest herafaris are done because they are not responsible for anything. They don't have any ministry. In the organization also, this kind of person, they will not keep any responsibility with them. The purchase head will not sign any document. It will sign by assistant manager or by the senior manager. But the maximum fraud are done by the middle management of purchasing department. But they are not responsible because they have not been documented as responsible. When it will be completed, many governments have come. Today also there are many governments. I have seen the past governments in Mumbai. They will always say, we will see, we will do, something will happen. When will it happen? They will never give any targets. So the governments will turn over. Those governments who have not given any targets, their lives have been finished. Those organizations who have not given any target, their profitability has been vanished. They are surviving somehow because luckily they are having the good luck. They are having the hands of the gods on them sometimes. But the profits are not increasing. Okay, so they are into problems. They are not defined how the results will be evaluated. Today, a lot of my discussions are going around the political situation because no country can survive if these things are not being defined. Yesterday, we have seen the results of the three north-eastern states political results. I have been waiting north-east area for last many years, and I have seen the poor condition, the pitiable condition there. We used to take the flight, we used to take buses, but we are not sure whether we'll reach our destination or not. Our bus or flight may be bombed by some Naxalites. All those things have been controlled because some governments have come who had implemented things like this. I had a friend there. In fact, I had a couple of friends who had stopped their workshop, the big industry there, came back, ran back to, east and west, and then finally came to North India, came to West India, and they have been into losses because they had been put into ransom by these Naxalites who were doing day in, day out, daylight robberies they were doing. Openly they were giving threats to the industry. I have got many such friends who have been unlucky. But now few of them have gone back and restarted their manufacturing industry there. How? Because some governments have come, some individuals have come, some NGOs have come who have followed these activities and they have been good survivors now. So let's follow the things which are good without maybe taking the name in ISO certification, management system certification. We don't take the name of any company, but sometimes it is good to take the name without the real names, without the real political party name, without the real NGO name, but learning from their experience, learning from what they have implemented practically in the lives. Okay, getting up early in the morning. We had a meeting of IAS this week, and there are many members of the IAS certified body. If you call them at 10 o'clock, they will say, sir, we are into bed, we are sleeping. I said, you sleep, your luck will also sleep. I don't mind saying all that. What are the desired results? Desired results are that people will get energy if they start implementing food safety management objectives sincerely. They are energized because the objectives are smart. They are having targets, so the teams are trained. And smart objectives will give assurance to the food safety management system. The entire globe sustainable development goals requirement of UN, United Nations, the techno requirements are met with a healthy food. How many of school children are getting sick today because of bad food? Food is free by the government, by various schemes. But there are persons who are eating that good food and supplying bad food to the children, and they are getting sick every day. I do not listen to news. I hate listening to news, but sometimes my ears listen to these kind of voices. This school in Bihar, North Bihar, 100 children got sick. This in West Bengal, 200 children got sick. This in Rajasthan, got 400 children got sick. Why? Because somebody has eaten the good part of the food and given them poisonous food. Very risky. Objectives should be auditable and it should be questionable. I again get back to many of the governmental schemes where the question and answers cannot be asked because their targets are so foolish, so illogical. You see, they're so illogical, so meaningless. The language is so filthy that you cannot ask them questions. So they are never reviewed. And people sitting in chairs keep on eating the weight of the chairs, and someday they fall into their own chairs. And they are falling to the inquiries by ED, CBI, and many others, income tax rate, and then they blame the authorities, but they will never blame themselves. And I have seen the lives of such people and their families getting miserable one day or the other if they do not follow the rules and regulations, if they eat away the money of the poor globally. This is not a phenomenon happening in any one country. This is happening very clearly now in Pakistan. This has happened in Sri Lanka, even Egypt, and many other countries. I don't want to take the name. There are many countries today whose economies are going drastically under a dawn of negativeness because they have not done all this. They have only made their lives easy and they have eaten all the money, good money, which could have been implemented into good food safety objectives. They could have trained their team to improve the performance of the food being supplied to the NGOs, to the schools, but they have not done. They have never thought of meeting the needs of the interested party. They have thought of meeting the needs of only their party, their individuals. They focus only on themselves, their family, their party, their state, their country, not a global thought. If globe improves, it will be an improvement of everybody, but that needs to be thought. We should not be running mad like, some countries who are falling into wars and wars and wars. No global benefits. Objectives should meet the vision, mission, and direction of top management, the global requirement, I would say. For me, the top management is the United Nations. In India, as we talk, this is the government, this is the RBI, this is the FSSAI, this is the statutory regulatory board for food. That is what I look at it when we talk of food safety management system objectives. We need to plan. We cannot just implement any policy into food safety management system as an objective. We need to draft it first. First draft needs to be issued for any policy and objective. Then try it for sometimes couple of months. Don't waste your energy into something just put into implementation which you yourself don't understand. You have got something copied from some organization in Saudi Arabia or some organization in Egypt, but that is not implementable in where Hong Kong or Eastern China or anywhere. Then provide training. Training is the essence of the whole thing. People are untrained, so they do all stupid things with respect to food safety objectives. If we display things, they remain in our mind and heart, and we can implement it. Available on websites, so all interested parties, everybody can look at it, and they can highlight the mistakes to the organization because the organizational team is afraid of the top management. So they sometimes are not able to indicate it to the team. But if it is on website, the interested parties, the state regulatory boards, the customer, the final customers, they have the courage to tell it to the top management of the organization that their objectives are not what it should be. So they improve. There are various softwares. I myself get 5 to 6 emails today giving the presentation by various software companies world over. They claim that if you implement this software, the documentation and implementation will be 100% okay. But it should be tailor-made to suit your food safety management requirements. Communication we discussed, internal and external, are equally important. Then where we go? We go to have good action plan. Okay, good action plans are developed to implement the objectives. I always link it with energy utilization effectively done for implementation of smart objective. Don't run like a fool. Don't say everything will be done 100%. 100% insect control, 100% water level checking, 100% emergency preparedness. All that is a stupid way of presentation of objectives. That 100% can never be achieved. If 100% is achieved in the organization, they are gone. We will not see any improvement in future. Monitoring the food safety targets. Then analysis of objectives. What objectives we have documented in October 2022 in a bread manufacturing company with a definite kind of a technology and machinery systems had altogether changed in February 2023. So our objectives will definitely change and we need to analyze them and we need to monitor with respect to the change, process change, design change, machinery change, operator and change raw materials. Okay, and then develop it further so that the charts of targets are running on in positive direction. Then what do? We implement it throughout the organization from having effective control on prevention of growth and success. This is a key to success today. We are into organization day in day out. In last 3 months, I have audited more than 10 organizations. Out of them, there were 8 were into IMS with FSMS also implemented. I have been also by audited by 2 of the boards. I have attended 3 of the accreditation board meetings and this came out very well into the limelight. And whosoever is preventing the growth of the objectives and being a hindrance to the success should be stopped, maybe thrown out of the company if cannot be disciplined further. Sometimes drastic decisions are to be taken. Sometimes a bone, if it cannot be cured, that part of the body can be removed and can be replaced by a good part of maybe. So to get the success, correct calculations, effectiveness, targets review is required. So we need to do all this on a real-time basis. We don't live into the era of our, strategies, the old partnership companies, the old INC companies, which has got no meaningless. There are some Australian and US companies who say we are PTY Limited and they say we are very good and very big. What is PTI Limited? PTY means proprietary company. Days of proprietary companies and partnership companies are gone. We need to live into the real-time basis. Why we talk of these things of private limited companies and multinational companies? Because they talk of public-private partnership. They talk of partnership with interested parties. They look at fact and figures with involvement of all. There are some Australian companies, some full companies, I would say, who are operating even in India, and they say we are PTY limited, but they are nothing, 0/0, I would say. They do not involve anybody. They eat all the money from various countries, and we Indians and we other countries people are made fooled by them. So let's not go by American company or Australian company or Hong Kong based or Chinese company or any other MNC who are trying to take all money from our country, but they do not give anything back in return. Let's kick them out from our countries, respective countries, because they are preventing our growth and success. They are always interested in their own growth and success. So let's get wiser and wiser and see that we become self-dependent. As Mr. Modi and many other countries are saying that let's be independent, develop our own country technology, our own resources, and kick others who are eating our own money like Chinese are doing in many countries. But now it is being reduced because most of the countries are waking up. They have started understanding this foolish lottery game and foolish softwares, and they are banning TikTok, and all. So then what happened? Now we reach March. Which week? First week. 4 months of implementation are done in my bakery organization in Hong Kong. So now what do? I need to study the objectives and see how energy has been utilized. Energy of the organization cumulatively, because Hong Kong is one unit, I have got 5 more units in India, 10 more in Australia, 12 more in Morocco, 3 more in Saudi Arabia, where this kind of a small group and cross-functional teams are there. So they need to be involved, motivated, and we need to study what is happening there, how much of the targets are being achieved. Now we have got 4 or 5 months of data. There are CBs who are issuing certificates in 1 week, 10 days, 1 month. Very risky for the organizations. They definitely pay to some foolish consultants and some stupid certification bodies, and they lose all the money. And when this analysis of data is done, it is found that they have wasted some 1,000 US dollars, some 800 euros, some 2,000 Singaporean dollars by paying to a stupid consultant who have made fooled, and they have been fooled by the management system coordinator as well, because he has also eaten money. Instead of going for a good food development, he involved himself into bad habits of eating the money. I am talking about this eating and bad habits because world over it is being seen that some bad fishes into the organization, into the political parties, into the family, into the homes, into the societies, into the association, into the certification body. I don't say all are bad. Into the last meeting of one of the board, I saw 35 CVs. Out of them, I could see only the 5 faces who could understand English language. I was very surprised how they have been accredited. The board is also very funny. They have accredited all 35 bodies. Now they are saying we will improve upon it. But they are sleeping earlier. Lot of buildings of Atiq Ahmed, the mafia in India, are being demolished today. Where were they when they were being built up? Why the government and state government and the MNCs and political parties and the accreditation board and certification bodies were sleeping earlier? It is very good to have a good nap. You take a good nap, you also become a part of those eating habits, and then you suddenly say, now I have got a data to show that a lot of bad things have been done in the past. Oh, so you all were eating together, so it went all well. So let's not do that. Then conduct of effective internal audit by trained auditors. Trained on what? Trained on food safety techniques, trained upon CCP, trained upon HACCP plan, trained upon food safety team leader, trained upon what? Insecticide effects into that, trained upon physical, biological, chemical effects of the food, and bribery into it at the same time. So we need to train the auditors who can understand the techniques, the terminologies, who are taking effective pains, who have been trained on technical specifications of FSMS, who have been trained upon the terminology used in the beginning of the 22,000 standard and into the annexure of 22,000 standard and the supporting standard of the technical specification, and as per 19,011 and as per ISO 17021 and as per ISO 22,002, 3, 4, 5, whatever are the related standards, and then they can do a competent audit as per the ISO management system standard requirements. And then we have a file prepared which is giving us directions of what all we have missed in last 4 months of implementation, where all we have gone wrong. And then this file is taken to where? Effective review into a management review meeting, food safety management review meeting, by involving the food safety management team and team leaders. We are very sorry to say that a lot of third-party audits we do. In last 6 months itself, I have seen many companies doing management review meeting for the sake of management review meeting. Some 3-4 pages of minutes are documented somehow by copy paste. They do not talk about their food safety, CCP. They do not talk about the energy is spent into the implementation of the objective. They do not talk of the food safety, CCP, HACCP plans, food safety emergency preparedness. In an IMS company, they will talk of electricity, fire, and the accidents by the management handling, material handling. But where is the FSMS emergency preparedness? Where is the food safety? Where is the magnetic, non-magnetic check? Where is the jewelry check? Where is the hair control? Where is the hygiene control? Where is the wound control? Where is the hand sanitization being done? Where is the medical checkup? Emergency not done at all. We'll be sorry. Many CVs are, certifying such company, and many such companies come to us after 3 years of certification. They say, sir, we got no benefit. I said, because your benefits have been eaten by very intelligent consultants, very intelligent coordinators, and sleeping management who have luckily woken up after 3 years. So we tell them what all has gone wrong. And we say stage one will be done again, because we cannot just accept that you are a certified organization. We are not big fools like other CVs who have done you. We don't want to go to follow up audit by our accreditation boards. We don't want to fall the prey to jazz and action which has happened 6 years back, where into the southeastern Aryan region, India was one of the part where some 45 certification bodies have been suspended and cancelled by JSN. JSN was also sleeping for many years. I have asked them a question 12 years back, how many certification bodies you will give accreditation? How many consultants will be converted into certification body? I asked this question this week also, but I am sorry to say that the answer was not satisfactory. They say we will control now. Why we have not controlled earlier? Why 45 certification bodies of JSN has been suspended and cancelled 10 years back? What they sleeping? Why they have not answered to questions like persons like me 12 years back and controlled something? Everybody sleeps over. Everybody is having a habit of sleeping unless they are kicked on their backs. Once the kick is done on front and back, front means on their stomach, when the earning stops, when complaint stops, when customer dissatisfaction stops, then they wake up. I am trying to be more and more critical today, because food is something which is making us sick each and every day. As I was started comparing from the life and the style of our grandfathers, because they were having a good healthy food. It was not mixed by chemicals. There were no chemicals of bravery gone into it. So they were happy, healthy. They used to live 80 years of life. My mother lived for 80 years. My father lived 84 years. My grandfather had a very healthy life up to 90 years of age. He could walk, he could run, he could put me on his back, and he could tell me the bravery story of Maharana Pratap and Shivaji, because he had lived that kind of a brave life and strong life. Because of what? Because of healthy food safety, because of healthy food. So let's try to follow that again. Organic foods are coming again, but are these organic consultants are themselves organic? Are these organic certification bodies are ethical? We are very sorry, because these companies are coming us to us in recertification and re-certification, and we found all those certification bodies have done fake audits and fake certification with the help of some stupid consultant who had earned all the money and ran away, like Nirav Modi and some other very good, brave, you know, intelligent housekeepers of the countries. Then implement the results which come out from here and monitor and go into further future action plan, and the improvement will be automatic. So this is what I thought I would say, which I started with the objective, which is to be smart, measurable, consistent with food safety policy, needs to be communicated, should meet statutory and regulatory requirement. Most of the certification bodies audited do not themselves understand the statutory and regulatory audit requirement of the state. They do not understand the CDSCO, they do not understand FSCI needs, they do not understand various requirements, but they are even made auditor by some stupid online course. Very risky. We should define what resources, who will do, when it will be done, targets should be evaluated. I want organizations to be intelligent enough and not dependent upon these stupid consultant and wrong certification bodies who, for the sake of their own person, do all this and not focus on to the global requirements. Your food made wrong by you will be eaten by you tomorrow in Australia if it is imported by Hong Kong. If you are developing a contaminated food in Australia, tomorrow it will be imported to India and your own company people will eat and become sick. That is the theme and the key understanding which people don't understand. They will manufacture wrong cylinders, wrong oxygen and so on, which we have seen happening into the corona period. Their own relatives have fall prey to that. Their own sons and daughters fall prey to it somewhere sitting in Australia or New Zealand. But they don't understand all this. They don't want to understand because they are becoming mad in the race of earning money by making wrong food, bad food, manufacturing or trading or servicing or whatever way. So all this needs to be done and understood if you want to become a good certification. We want all the implementers, all the organization to visit our website and get trained first of all before going for certification. Certification is not a problem. Today or tomorrow you will get certified. Somebody will issue a right or wrong certificate to you and you can still keep on earning money. But if your team can be trained here, if the training of certification body team auditors is done properly by attending to the right kind of courses, accredited courses, not some foolish course by ABC logo, ABC, you know, accredited course which are not correct, and then go for right kind of certification. Go to our website, see how much of effort we are making the globe aware of the food safety requirement so that we can share what the learning of our 500 plus auditors and trainers globally and share with all here, which is freely available on our website and our YouTube channel. So we provoke you all to be honest enough to yourself. If you are honest enough to yourself, you can support the next generation and the generation will not die. They will not become handicapped. They will not become prey to the losses of the body parts. So this is what I thought I will discuss for the future to be seen in the light of healthy and hygienic food. So if you have any questions, you're most welcome. Apur,
If any of the participants has any questions, they can please continue to ask. Or if you do not have any questions as of now, we can continue to the closing of this particular session. But before that, I would say that in case there are many situations that you do not have any questions at the relevant point of time when the webinar is being discussed. So in case you have any questions in the later part, when you will be reviewing and understanding this webinar free of cost again on our YouTube channel, you can please post your questions in the comment section of the video and we will be transferring those questions to our speaker and he will be definitely answer them one by one in the similar order you post them in the comment section of the video. We can now come to the conclusion of this particular session. I would again say that as the regular statement of mine, that the topics with which Mr. Ajay Bajpai comes with and explains the brief details and the minute concepts of every particular standard is very applicable and understandable for all of us. The FSMS objectives, the topic with which he was today discussing with all of us today was very knowledgeable and understandable for all of us. We all took detailed information about the FSMS objectives, how they should be planned, what should be the targets to achieve them, how should an organization go step by step in planning and achieving those particular objectives which they have set for their food safety management system standard. So I would say that it was a very consistent and persisting knowledge for all of us. I thank Mr. Ajay Bajpai for giving his valuable time and efforts for this successful completion of this particular webinar. I thank all the participants as well for giving out their valuable time from their busy schedule to be a part of this particular webinar. I hope to see you all again soon with an exciting new topic. We will be conducting our next session post holy holidays, and we will be coming up with more exciting topics for our webinar sessions. See you soon. Best wishes from TNV Academy. Thank you so much.
Happy Holi to you all. Play with food safety colors. Don't use chemicals. Bye. Thank you.